Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. In this video I want to talk a little bit about the state of Warcraft Rumble because we're in this very ambiguous situation. On the one hand, I see a lot of comments, I see a lot of questions about, is Warcraft Rumble dead? Is Warcraft Rumble in maintenance mode? Are there like 2 people left working on this game? And on the other hand, with the recent updates, I've also seen actually some positive sentiments from the community that, okay, maybe Warcraft Rumble is going to be fine after all. So what's it going to be like? Well, first of all, it's not in maintenance mode like something like Heroes of the Storm is. There is still a significant team working on Warcraft Rumble. But there's of course the big elephant in the room, which is that Blizzard has refused to give us any information on long-term plans. We have had stuff coming up, and we have stuff coming up right now. For example, in a week and a half, we're going to have heroic version of Molten Core. So they keep announcing new things that they're releasing a week ahead, 2 weeks ahead. But what about 5 months ahead? What about 4 months ahead? Any kind of longer term vision, and we're just not getting anything from them about those. So where is the team headed? If we look at the team size of Warcraft Rumble actually originally was a very, very big team. Team size peaked at around 80 people around launch. So around October, November 2023, a year and a half ago, there were around 80 people, more than 80 people working on Warcraft Rumble. And that's a huge team for a mobile game. Then after the launch, they started to slowly become smaller. Some people left here and some people left there. And then there were the major layoffs when people were like, okay, this game is now going to die. There were big layoffs in September 2024. And in those layoffs, around 25 people were laid off from the team. Okay, that's a lot of people, but considering the team size, that was still less than half of the team. So after those layoffs, the remaining team size was somewhere around 45 to 50 people. It's a little bit hard because I don't have the organization chart and I can't track every individual down necessarily. So that's the evaluation. And after those layoffs in September 2024, more people have actually still been leaving. Well, I guess you can't blame them if big layoffs, then you might want to think about, okay, well, could I get a job somewhere else maybe? So the team has slowly been getting smaller, losing somebody every month, basically, maybe 2 people a month. And the current team size, that's around 37 to 40 people. But these people who have left, they have not been laid off. Actually, I'm a little bit uncertain whether they allowed some contract employees, the contracts to lapse. So, because there were a couple of people who left at the turn of the year. So it's possible that there were some people who were on a contract until the end of December, and those contracts may have been ended as part of the layoffs as well. So a couple of people left there who I'm not sure went willingly or not, but that's still uncertain. Maybe they just wanted to leave anyway. But most people who have left after the layoffs simply got themselves a new job. There are people who have went to Epic Games, to Scopely, to Dreamhaven. 2 people left for the Hearthstone team. 2 people left for the Diablo 4 team. So there have also been 4 people who have moved away from the Rumble team internally to another team at Blizzard. And that leaves us with the current Rumble team. And the current Rumble team is roughly 3 people doing management and support, 2 people doing communications, 16 people doing engineering, 4 people doing game design, and 12 people doing art, animation, these sorts of assets. So that's 37 people, and I think I may have missed some, so around 37, 40-ish people overall working in the Rumble team. Obviously, with a smaller team size, it raises the question, okay, are there competence gaps? Does the team still have access to all the competencies they need? And one thing that I can clearly identify is that the only sound designer was laid off in September. Actually, the fellow was rehired to another Blizzard team just weeks later, so everything turned out quite alright for him. No problems for him. Do they really need a sound designer though? Do they need a dedicated sound designer with the amount of content that they're releasing for Rumble now? Then maybe not. Maybe they can just fill in from Blizzard elsewhere, so perhaps that's not a crucial point. Then there were those big layoffs. The big layoffs actually cut quite deep into the management layer. One of the people who was laid off then wrote on Reddit later that one of the problems that she perceived that Rumble had was too many captains. Well, they have definitely cut down the number of captains a lot, so perhaps there were some good aspects in the layoffs as well regarding how the team structure works afterwards. They got deep into the management and then they sliced a piece out of everything else, so some engineers went and some artists were laid off and all that stuff. After the layoffs, it's the art team that has lost the most. That sort of makes sense, because when you think about it, the art teams at Blizzard are very highly valued professionals. They are probably the people who have the easiest time finding a new job. So if they feel like, okay, I'm a little uncertain about this, they can just pack up and leave. Also, some internal moves have been artists. For example, both VFX artists in the Rumble team actually moved to the Hearthstone team this year. So they currently don't have any dedicated VFX artists. That might be a competence gap right now. However, there are no public open vacancies in the Rumble team. There haven't been any either, so Blizzard has not been very fast at rehiring. But looking overall into the competence gaps and in the areas that their competencies currently cover, they might not need to do much. Perhaps I would expect them to hire some people to the art department if they really are serious about Rumble in the future, because they have lost some very recently. But other than that, they still seem to have pretty much the stuff that they need in place. So 37 people or some more. Can 37 people maintain and develop a mobile game? Yes, absolutely they can. So they still have the workforce that they need. Sound design probably can be handled part-time. Other than that, what are they really doing? There is no new mini coming for Season 14, so this marks the first season where we don't have a new mini. Why we don't have a new mini? Is this because they just lost a bunch of people from the art team? Or is this part of their overall content plan? Or did they move those people into the Hearthstone team, for example, because they don't need those artists right now? Because think about what are the people working on Rumble doing now. Well, they still have a fairly sizable engineering department. So they can fix bugs, they can deliver new features, which is exactly what they have been doing. They can try to make the game more stable. Okay, that happens. They still have the group of 4 game designers. These are people who are working on the mechanics, working on the encounter design, this kind of things. So they have been working on the heroics, for example, recently. And you don't really need a lot of art team in order to build the heroics. You might need some depending on what you're building for those, but you're just reusing a lot of existing assets. So art is the main unknown factor. Is the remaining art team in Rumble working on future content? Because they have fewer artists compared to everything else, so they can just fix bugs, deliver features, repurpose existing contents into heroics, mythics, these kinds of things, and save the art resources to do something important. Or is it the other way around? Because they're working on all of these things, then they don't need as many people in the art department. And that's really hard to say. I mean, obviously I wish Blizzard would tell us a little bit more. But overall, I do think that Rumble still has potential if they just keep making the game smoother and they can repurpose lots of their existing content. Because Rumble obviously has problems with interest. New downloads are low, revenue is so and so, player retention so and so. But we have had these changes recently. For example, we got a lot of changes for XP, so progress is a lot smoother now. So they are trying to address these issues that prevent new players from joining the game and staying in the game. And also, we're getting these heroics. We got Heroic Siege of Ironforge, we're getting Heroic Molten Core, because co-op content is really popular. It's easy to find instant games in co-op content in the open queue, and players are really looking for info about this. For example, my recent guide about Siege of Ironforge in 3 days got 22,000 views. That's a lot of views for a guide about a very, very small game. So, yeah, there is definitely still some potential. And it's kind of ironic that Tom Chilton went on stage at BlizzCon in 2023 and said that Warcraft Rumble is all about co-op. Co-op. They want to build so many good co-op experiences. And the first co-op experience that they actually delivered came in May 2024, when they talked about it in November 2023. So that came very, very late. Over time, co-op is proving to be the most popular aspect of the game. And it's also something really unique. It could definitely be their niche. They don't have to compete directly against something like Clash Royale, because they could really have their own niche and it could be pretty strong. So what am I trying to say with this video? Rumble still in rough waters, still has enough people working on it that they can turn it around if they want to. And they would also have a very clear direction that they could take. with the co-op content, because co-op seems to be the thing that's doing best in the game. And I just hope that Blizzard will see that and will give the resources accordingly and for a longer period of time, because really Blizzard not committing to Rumble, not saying that, hey, we are committed, we are going to keep supporting this game. That's one of the biggest things that's holding the game back. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.